How are we all doing today? My name is Anima, and I have a Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle for you, this time against Eoin. It's a post-commentary. Are you excited? I sure am. Let me let you know what I'm bringing, despite the fact that you can see it right bloody there. I am bringing a Crustle, a Granbull, Shiftry, Mushmushana, Monferno, and a Raichu, while my opponent is bringing a Charizard, Sceptile, Tauros, Rotom, Fan, Swallow, and Piloswine, the threat, the absolute bane of my whole life. By the way, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, please tell me, because I don't want to be pronouncing your name wrong. So, I can just say right now that Piloswine, I didn't realise this at the time, but honestly the combination of ground and ice is an incredibly potent check to this whole entire team, which is something I need to keep in mind when I'm putting my teams together for the future. Honestly, very powerful Pokemon on my opponent's side of the field. I'm not really seeing very defensive Pokemon. It looks like just the Piloswine, come to think of it. But regardless, I'm going to hit play, and you're going to see what really happened, how this all unfolded. So Eoin is issuing a challenge. No fedoras, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I'm pretty sure that's an American thing, although fedoras do exist over here. It's not like they didn't make it across the seas. Unfortunately, they did crawl across the ocean to settle on unsuspecting scalps. So, I am going to go for the knockoff on the Dennis, just to make sure that it'll be easier for everybody else to deal with this creature, because a Piloswine with an Eviolite will inherit the Earth, I am telling you now. The resulting knockoff does cause my red card to activate. Earthquake does cause my red card to activate, thus forcing out Fantastic. If you don't get that, then you're as daft as I am, because I didn't get that until I looked at that just now. My opponent does go for the trick, which I kind of anticipated, but nobody else really wanted to be tricked into something, so I just want to get up my Stealth Rocks, and of course next turn I am locked into Stealth Rocks, so the best thing for me to do is to switch out into Gesundheit, who unfortunately takes a Will-O-Wisp to the face. Gesundheit doesn't really like being burnt, not an awful lot of things do. In fact, I would dare you to present me with something that does enjoy being burnt, in which case I will say you are right, and also you're a creep. I did anticipate a switch out here, which is why I went out into Slouch, because the Air Slash wouldn't have done much damage to Raichu, and I am pretty much immune to the T-Bolts and so on. But my opponent does decide to stay in, so it was down to my over-prediction that I would lose Slouch, because Slouch is Bug Rock, so air, like flying, is neutral against him, plus the special defense is not so good. Unfortunately, Slouch is a slouch in that department. So now I'm in a worse position than before, and I'm back out into Gesundheit, only I've lost a Pokemon, and I'm slightly weakened. I went for the Hidden Power Ice, because that's my most damaging move against this thing, and I really have no idea what my logic was with this next play, but for some reason I decided to go for a T-Bolt. I really can't recall what my logic was, because that Pokemon was just there. It was just always there. There's a ground Pokemon there, an easy go-to. In retrospect, I do think that a Grass Knot would have done a really good amount of damage to this thing. I really do think that. So I can't stay in because the Earthquake will kill me, so I have to switch out as my opponent takes this opportunity to make a great play and set up their Stealth Rock. So now Nashor is out here, the Intimidate does go off, so I'm not really that afraid of anything that this creature does, and I'm free to go for the Play Rough, which does a great amount of damage now that the Eviolite was knocked off. So, you know what, you did do something, Slouch. You're not a complete slouch, I'm sorry. I'm a dick. So Dennis withdraws and goes out into Torre Rosso. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation there, being painfully white. And so the Intimidate is going to go off, and Nashor's attack is going to fall. Regardless, I did just go for the Play Rough. This is my physical wall, so if anyone wants to take a Sheer Force anything or blah blah, I'm lying, the Intimidate just went off. If anyone wants to take anything from this Taurus, it will be Nashor, and my opponent does decide to go for the extremely powerful Thrash. This is basically an outrage. And that does a hell of a lot, because that was a critical hit. Honestly, like, it just happens. Like, I did record this live, but the picture kept glitching, these strange pink things kept appearing, and I didn't really enjoy that, so I had to do this post-combat. I mean, I'm sorry, Eoin, that was a live, I'm so sorry. But my Granbull does get taken out by the second Thrash. So honestly, the crit probably didn't matter, so we can all just calm our tits. I decided to go out into Dr. M. This thing is, right, Tauros is really fast, never forget, I'm still learning about stuff in NU, so I'm not completely at peace with things speed, which is why you'll see me looking things up during the live battles. So I had to go for the vacuum wave just to guarantee I'd outspeed and kill, as my opponent is then free to go out into fantastic, and this is not really very fantastic for me, honestly. I have to switch out into Dream Sweet, my mush mush, who should just be called mush mush, to be fair. My opponent does go for the air slash, and this is going to do a reasonable amount, not really an awful lot, but yeah. I'm gonna get my lefty's recovery, and I'm able to take another air slash, and that's fine. Able to get off a psychic off, and that is going to kill fantastic. So that horrendous appliance is finally dead. I messed about with that thing way too much. That thing should have been dead far sooner. Really messed about with it far too much. Regardless, it's dead now. And Charla, yeah, you know where that's from? I hope so. I hope I'm getting the reference right. Anyway, goes for a flamethrower, and that's gonna be a 2 KO on Dream Sweet from the range of HP she is at. I was really fearing that it might have the roost, which is why I went straight for the psychic, and it comes just shy of taking it out, which really, it was just, oh my god, it was very sad. It would have been really nice to still be alive, you know. I think most dead things would think that if they could think. If they do think, I don't know. If you're more informed in the afterlife, please feel free to, you know, shed some light or something. So I have to go out into Dr. M now, just to pick it off. This thing is faster. Dr. M is not very fast. It's not an Infernape yet. So, yeah, so I can't really, you know, do an awful lot. And right now, Dr. M, all he's really doing is just kind of like picking up kills with the vacuum wave. Now, I did decide to stay in and go for the vacuum wave here because nobody wanted to switch in on anything this Swallow wanted to do. So all I could really, I mean, fighting is a neutral hit on Swallow because of the half normal typing. So it was good that I managed to get off that damage, plus the recoil does put it into the red. Now, the only thing I can really do is go into Wendigo and start spamming Sucker Punch, but of course Swallow do carry the quick attack. Come to think of it, yeah. I was thinking, oh, maybe if they'd gone for U-turn, but no, it would... I would get the Sucker Punch off and it would die. So my opponent's best play was just to keep spamming the quick attack, which would out-prioritize my Sucker Punch, but I had to keep going for the Sucker Punch lest I'd take a Brave Bird to the face and just die outright. My main thing here was just to try and stall out the Toxic by forcing the quick attacks to happen, which I could live. Now, all I have left in me is a Sucker Punch. Now, I'm pretty confused about priority in general, and if someone could shed some light on this, I would really appreciate it. I was fearing the Ice Shard here, so I don't really know if my opponent went for that at all. But in that situation, would Sucker Punch have outsped the Ice Shard? If you can answer that question for me, I'd appreciate it, because it would just clear things up, because I really don't know. I really don't. So my final Pokemon is Gesundheit, and my opponent's final Pokemon is the Skeptical Sceptile, who is just so over my Raichu, who is just so over Gesundheit, doesn't need the Bless You, isn't sneezing, it's a plant, gonna be a plant dragon at some point, and Jesus. Gesundheit gets taken out by an Energy Ball, an absolute overkill. And that is gonna be the game. So great game, Eoin, thank you very much for the battle. Guys, if you enjoyed that battle as much as I did, please feel free to leave a like, leave a comment if you are so inclined. As always, you don't have to, and it is a matter of appreciation. It would seriously put a smile on my face. So, more importantly, take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye!